Hello guys and welcome to the Voice KE. My name is Colin Songoi and today we are here in Mukuru kwa Jenga and today we are holding a public participation in conjunction with Okoi Uchumi. We have KHRC and we also have TISA on this particular program, and today I have one of those representatives from KHRC and she's going to talk to us about this public participation. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Yeah, you're representing from?
Kenya Human Rights Commission.
And why are you? Did you feel that it is important to come and hold this particular public participation in this particular area about the finance bill?
Yeah, so public participation is provided for under the law, particularly Article 1 of the Constitution, which states that sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya, and the same can be exercised directly or indirectly. So directly means we engage through public participation in various government decision-making processes. Indirectly, it means that through the elected leaders, that's the senators, the members of parliament, the women representatives, and the members of county assembly in our respective counties, we are also able to engage with them, or perhaps they represent our views. Also, Article 10 of the Constitution on the principles of national principles of governance as well. Public participation is provided for, and it requires that in any government decision-making processes, citizens are involved. So we talk about Finance Bill 2023 and the budget as well that is now being passed, is almost going to be passed as well. Public participation was provided for. So the concern has been whether the views of the public were put into consideration when the final decision-making process was being done. So we felt that was not really put into consideration as we would have expected based on those submissions from the public. So that is the reason why we are here, to also just get the views of the ordinary Kenyan from these areas and from the county at large on what their take is, and whether they feel that they were well represented by the leaders that they've elected in parliament.
Yeah. So the public participation, you want to confirm that it was held
Yes.
for the finance bill. But what was the response from the people because it was passed? We wonder if the public participation was held and the finance bill was passed. Then what was the will of the people?
The will of the people was really not put into consideration, because when you would watch through mainstream medias, and those that participated, largely most of them opposed some proposals, what I would call punitive proposals in the Finance Bill 2023. But of concern is that they have sailed through. I'll give a good example, which really is disgruntling most of these people in this room, which is that one on the fuel levy. That has been increased from 8% to 16%. Their concern largely is that this will increase the high cost of living. It will burden them in all aspects of their life, because when fuel is increased, it basically means all other aspects, be it education, be it public transport, food, and all those things are the cost of all those things is going to go up. So that really affects them, and it's one of the concerns of the citizens that are here today.
Yeah, and you also participated in protest against the finance bill, where we saw most of your people and some of the people activists who participated in the demonstrations were arrested. Yeah, do you think that people are being denied the right and to demonstrate?
Yes, absolutely. We are being denied the right which is provided for under the Constitution as well. Really, when it comes to public participation, what any person who is disgruntled and intends to go to street to protest whatever issue it is should be granted that opportunity. What we need to do is to just communicate that information to the responsible authorities so that they are able to provide security when the protests are ongoing. But unfortunately, what we have seen during this particular period of time is that when citizens go to the street to exercise their right provided for under the Constitution, the same is met by by the police, who tear gas them and force them out of the street. And in worst case scenarios, we saw more than 16 protesters being arrested, and they were able to be bailed out. But again, much as they were bailed out, the concern is their right was denied.
Yeah, we saw that the finance bill before there are some changes that were made. The house levy was reduced to 1.5. Content creation taxation was also reduced. Do you feel like these changes that were put upon the finance bill was enough and was satisfying to the people?
We appreciate the small wins, the changes that we have been able to see. And for example, when it comes to the digital content creators, our proposal, when we did the initial analysis of the finance bill, we proposed that 5% be charged, levy be charged on them, which is okay because people need to pay taxes to allow also government to be able to implement its project and also provide services to the ordinary citizen. So we appreciate the 5% levy that has now been passed. That is okay. But when it comes to housing levy, there were very many concerns. One being that this was just an idea that has kept on changing over time. It wasn't the right time to be able to incorporate or integrate the same into the Finance Bill 2023. The other concern is when it comes to housing, there are no structures that are going to be used to be able to implement the same. So there's a lot of trust issues around the same. Really, there's no proper groundwork that has been done by the government to warrant them impose this levy on ordinary Kenyan, and especially the timing as well. That is quite a concern. We are grappling with high cost of living, so this was really not the time to be able to impose such a levy. So we feel that more work needs to be done. More work should have been done prior to integrating that levy into the Finance Bill 2023.
I hear you calling it a levy, yeah, because during the Huru regime or the former government, they had introduced this particular housing levy, but now it has come back with the President Ruto. Do you think it's any different, or do you think it's just an imitation of the former regime of the Uhuru Kenyatta?
Um, I wouldn't know the details, but I think at this particular point in time, the justification for the same is what is concerning. I mean, we feel there's no truth to it because initially when it was being fronted, the idea was Kenyans needed housing. Housing was quite critical, which we agree anyway. But then the concern is why now, you know? And I know there's this meme going around, Nani Hana Kwao. Yes, but the point is the timing for me is quite wrong. And also the fact that there has not been clarity on how this is going to be administered. There has not been clarity on who is leading this process. Initially, we were being told it's a contribution that we will be refunded after 7 years. Right now, we have been told it's a levy. It's being charged from our it's not being told, but that's the fact. It's charged on our gross incomes and all that. So really, I would say for me, the timing is wrong. Not sure whether it's the same being fronted, but I feel like the justification and perhaps there's a hidden agenda as to why this is coming at this particular point in time.
Yeah, I can hear you say a lot of it's a wrong timing, it's wrong timing. So you agree that it's a good project, but the timing is the one that is wrong?
Everything including the timing, because one, as I've said, there are no structures. There's no way we would have a law that does not have a structure on how the same is going to be implemented. That would mean trust issues. Again, based on the scandals that we've had around housing in this country, it's hard to trust the current regime to be able to implement matters housing. Again, this project is coming in place, the levy is being charged on us, but we are also being told it's because of getting employment to youth. Again, we have youths in this country who are well schooled. Why would we say that all of them would want to do construction work? Yeah, so I'm saying there's a lot of gray area around the issue of housing that would perhaps need to be unpacked. At accountability and transparency around the housing program really needs to come out clear.
Yeah, we have our MPs who passed the finance bill of 2023. Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that they did not fulfill the will of the people. Yeah, do you think they did not fulfill the will of the people? Yeah, do you think that MPs are confined by parties, that they not are not able to fulfill the will of the people, but are able to fulfill the will of those people who are on top of their parties, or are in charge of their political parties?
With what we have seen in Parliament in these past weeks of the finance bill debate and conversation generally, I think I would say, or it would be safe for me to just say, we have seen individuals advancing their own interests and not of those of the Kenyans that they represent. So basically, I would say it was an interest conversation. Many of them were advancing their own interests, not of the Kenyans.
Okay, thank you so much for talking to us. I hope to see you next time, and thank you for sharing your comments. Thank you so much.